Rachel Lawson's Gothic Magicians, a last massage. You can't dress like that here, Dad. This is a day spa, it is not an igloo. You look like you are dressed for the snow, said Lakelandite Argent to his father, who was in a tuxedo. You aren't wearing enough, you look like you just got out of a shower, scoffed his father, Fred, offended by his son being near naked in public. Lakelandite wore a towel. Towels are the uniform of day spas, said Lakelandite. Fred didn't enjoy the day spa at all. But on the bright side, he couldn't see his son much in the steam-filled steam room, where they sat feeling hot and sweaty. Fred wanted to be anywhere else but there. Your time is up, said a woman who worked in the day spa, poking her head in the room. Why is he dressed like that? I'll get him a towel. What is he trying to do, kill himself going into a steam room in a suit? Asked the lady, seeing Fred overdressed in the steam room. I told him he was overdressed, snapped Lakelandite. Fred frowned at his son. I'm fine, said Fred, who felt overheated and lightheaded from the steam and heat. Come out of there. I'll get you some water, said the lady, worried. He's fine, he's a tough old bird, said Lakelandite. Fred glared at his son. Thank you. I'll take the water, said Fred, leaving the steam room. The lady walked over to a water cooler and got Fred a cup of water, which he drank like fine wine. I told you that you were overdressed, you old fool, accused Lakelandite. What are you doing here, you two? Asked the suspicious policeman, seeing them. The king of prudes is trying to kill himself, scoffed Lakelandite. Fred was known as the king of the earth. Fred glared at his son. I see that, said the policeman, Fred's adopted brother Reynard, frowning. The woman left them. Have you been killing people here, necromancer? Asked Reynard of Lakelandite, a suspicious character and a known killer. No, we're here to catch the killer here, and not kill anyone but him, said Lakelandite. Fred moaned. I see that, but where have you been in the last hour? Asked Reynard. Cooking with him in the steam room, why? Asked Lakelandite. Was he with you? Asked Reynard. He was, moaned Fred. Why? Asked Lakelandite curiously. We were called here because they found a man drowned in a spa, said Reynard. Not my modus operandi, drowning people. I use a sword, said Lakelandite, not lying. I noticed, said Reynard. You be careful. There is another killer in here. We know, said Lakelandite. Do you have any ideas who the killer was? Asked Fred, who looked like a drowned rat. The lady who just gave you the water, said Reynard, but we can't prove it. Oh, said Fred nervously, wondering if he'd been poisoned. She wouldn't poison you in front of the police, said Lakelandite, reading Fred's mind. Oh, right, said Fred, feeling like a fool for thinking he was poisoned. You can help us, Fred, said Reynard. How? Asked Fred. Thank you for doing this, miss. I really appreciate it, said Fred, later walking into a massage room with the suspect. Can you strip? Said the suspect. I would rather stay like I am, said Fred. I can't help you dressed like that, said the woman. Fred felt nervous about stripping in front of a woman, but knew he had to if he was to entrap her. I've seen men in the buff before, she said. Can you turn your head? Asked the prude. If you ask, said the woman, turning away for appearances but looking into the reflection of a mirror facing her victim, watching him strip, admiring his form as he stripped and put on a towel. Are you ready yet? She asked Fred when he was. Yes, said Fred, feeling exposed, unaware he was being watched. The lady turned around, looking at him. Lie on the table, she said, walking to the massage table. Fred nervously lay on it on his back. No, on your front, said the lady. Fred got up and turned around. She smiled and massaged him, hurting Fred, who winced as she massaged him. Relax, it won't hurt so much, said the woman, noting the stiffness in his muscles and his wincing. Fred was aware she liked him. It made the telepath Fred feel worse. He tried to hide his nervousness and not wince so much. She could not suspect his suspicion that he was her next victim. She massaged his back, moving up to his neck slowly. When she got there, she massaged it for a while, Fred fearing any moment she might strike. She said his muscles were stiff in his neck. She massaged his neck for a while. Fred was growing more and more scared as she enjoyed her job a little too much. Half an hour later, she struck. She broke Fred's neck. She panicked, thinking she had to hide the body. Knowing the police were on her trail, she looked outside the window. The street was empty. She saw her car nearby. She dragged the tall corpse off the table, his towel coming off on the way to the window. She didn't notice it to her. He was merely a corpse to her, one who could get her in a lot of trouble. She put the corpse in her car, climbed in her car, and drove off to dispose of the body in a lake. She threw it in the lake and saw out of the lake crawled a dead man alive. She panicked, thinking it would come after her. She ran to her car and closed the door. Fred ran after her and banged on the door. "Where are my clothes?" Fred said. Seeing he was naked, he hid himself in his hands. Moments later, Fred heard her car horn beeping constantly. He looked at her. She was dead, her body lying on the horn. "Oh damn," said Fred, knowing it would draw people there, and he was naked. "She must have been scared to death seeing me alive again. I cannot be caught like this," Fred muttered and disappeared into thin air like only a sorcerer could, home where no one could see him. She was found dead of an apparent heart attack at the lakeside park. The police realized she was the killer when the killing stopped. Fred's brother and son suspected it had something to do with their plan to have Fred play bait, but Fred only said she killed him. She saw him come back to life, and she died while disposing of him. They knew Fred could not stay dead, which was why he'd been chosen as bait in the first place.